Welcome back mga kabarangay sa Netkapihan, Talakayan at Chikahan. Napapanood po dito sa PSTV5 Online. Magandang hapon, maulan na hapon ng Tuesday dito po sa Aotearoa, New Zealand at magandang umaga sa Pilipinas. Sa araw nito ay ating makakapanayam ang mga primary major casts and production sa Mekeni, the movie. The first Filipino Kapampangan movie dito sa Aotearoa, New Zealand. Good afternoon, Marianne, Allan, and Alyssa. How are you guys? Kumusta
Good,
na?
we're good. Okay naman po. Thanks for having
Very
us,
well.
Mekeni.
Direct. May pagkapanapon.
So is that Kapampangan in good afternoon?
Yeah. Magandang hapon.
Magandang hapon. So lahat kayo, I know si Marianne is from Pampanga, and Allan, are you from Pampanga also?
Yes po, direct sa Dao.
Dao. How about Alyssa? Are you from Pampanga also, Alyssa?
No po, Direk. I'm from Davao po.
Davao. Oh, pareho tayo Mindanao. Zamboanga ako eh. So, let's start with the writer, si Marianne. You, aside from acting, you also wrote the screenplay for Mekeni. Give us a little bit of a background about that, Marianne.
Yeah, so sinulat ko when I wrote Mekeni, I think sinulat kong script this time last year. If you can remember, Alyssa, I sent Alyssa the script as soon as I finished it. It was purely it was specifically for a platform, another initiative that I was interested in applying for to hopefully get started on making short films. And unfortunately, I ran out of time, but I had the script already. Actually, when I first wrote it, it was almost like a feature film. It was going to be a longer format. But then Alyssa and I got back together around the later part of 2020, and we knew Someday Stories opportunity had opened up. And Alyssa actually supported me and inspired me to go, hey, ate, if you really wanted to, try make any happen, we can put it through as a short film for Someday Stories to at least get us started and get the experience and to like learn how to make a film. And if it wasn't for Alyssa reminding me that that was something I can do with the script I had already written, I don't think we would be here talking today. So writing the writing side of it was more for pleasure, really. I really enjoyed putting my thoughts in paper. And to be completely honest, Direk, when I was writing this, it was more me contemplating what would happen if one of my parents passed away. It was like that was like the main thought that was going through my head, and as the eldest in the family, you do have to think about those things, and what will happen if one of my parents, suddenly, passed away, and how would the dynamic of the family change? What would I have to do as the eldest in the family need to do to step up? And basically Mekeni became, I was born out of that what if and panic mode in my brain, and writing it down and creating another world for my worries. It basically brought on a whole new world. So that's kind of how Mekeni happened.
So Mekeni, what does Mekeni mean in Kapampangan?
So in Kapampangan, it means come here, or like
Mekeni.
parito, dito.
Parito.
Halika.
Okay.
Halika, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so you wrote it. Is it a takeoff from your play Pinay? Is it like Pinay
No.
came first, diba?
Yeah, so Pinay came first. Pinay was a completely different work.
Okay.
So Mekeni is again a whole different universe, written by the same person, and I would say it has the same I mean, Alyssa probably could add to this. I think it has the same, feelings that it sort of touches with in terms of, really pulls the heartstring, really about the family dynamic and, a parent and a child. So there's certain similarities, but no, it's a completely different storyline. Did you want to add anything to that, Alyssa? As someone who also knows Pinay?
Yes, Alyssa is the director for the film, and also she was part of Pinay, and she's the director of Mekeni. Alyssa, so what can you say about what Marianne was saying?
Yeah, I agree. It's very different to Pinay. Also with it being a different format as well. And but it does have the similar themes as with like family, and very much like tugging your heartstrings, and really
Tearjerker
with
ba yan?
relationships.
Tearjerker? Is it a tearjerker also?
Depende. Kung manhid ka, edi.
Yeah.
I remember when I interviewed Marianne, I think early this year, she messaged me early this year. She was asking for, Kuya, meron ka bang kilalang ano? You gave me some specifications talaga. Yung sa lalaki, no? Yung parang you were looking for someone. I
Yes.
think you even joke na, Kuya, baka ikaw. Kaya sabi ko, hindi mo marunong magkapampangan, no? Because that was a specification, kailangan marunong siya magkapampangan. And
Mm.
is this was this the role of Allan? Yung ba yung hinahanap natin noon? Okay, Allan. So tell me how you joined this group.
Yeah, it's a totally different world for me, direct, because
Hmm.
I've been working for hospitality for 27 years,
Okay.
and I've been with my friends here in Pukikoy,
Hmm.
and one of them approached me like, "Hey, kuya, baka gusto mong mag-apply nung mag-audition dun sa short film ng Mekeni." Sabi, dahil alam nila Kapampangan ako.
Hmm.
Then sabi nila, pinadala sa akin yung link. And then I hesitated at the first time because I'm not up to, doing short films or any movie, and I'm not used to it. So I told them, okay, maybe I will give it a go. So then I have contacted Marianne, and I filled up the form with Direct Alyssa, and they set up the date for the audition. So I went to the audition, and yeah, fortunately I was shortlisted film. So I was really wrapped, and yeah, masaya ako dahil first time ko to direct. So
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
So
know
that
like
was
how the
what I
short
was
film
about
went
to
on.
say. Have you had experience? So this is really a first time for you, Alan.
Yeah,
And you're
the
playing
first
a
time
major
after.
role. Hmm?
Yeah,
I think the writer, Marian and direct Alisa, really saw something sa'yo, no? Kasi as a director, Alisa, so of course, you work with Marian. Marian is a professional, but working with Alan, how was it, Alisa? How was it directing Alan? Hmm?
It wasn't difficult at all kasi when you do like good casting, you're really trying to look for like the essence of the character within the actor or the performer. And Kuya Alan really had that essence, and so it was really just trying to pull that out of him and like tap into his personal experiences, things na makarelate siya, and
Mhm.
channeling those emotions and those experiences into what we're wanting for the
Mhm.
film. So
Mhm.
yeah, that was kind of like how we did it. And Ate Marian was also helping so much with
Mhm.
giving Kuya Alan some like acting lessons, to try to really prepare him, and give him those tools so that we could
Mhm.
communicate much better on set.
Mm.
Yeah, and he did so well. So like I'm really
oh,
happy with that.
Yeah, I'm so excited. On Wednesday is the premiere, di ba? This coming Wednesday, September
Bukas.
8, no? Oh,
Bukas
bukas na
po.
pala yun. Oo. Do you know the time?
I
Do, do you know the time when it's gonna be shown?
Yeah, so basically tomorrow, the website, the Sunday Story website
Mm-hmm.
launches the film at 11 a.m. New Zealand time.
Oh,
But
11.
also with the Teng Kuya collaborative team, we're also doing a watch party
Mm.
at 7:30 for people to watch the film with us, and then hear from us producers and writer and Alyssa director, to talk
Oh,
about the film
nice.
after. So basically, it's live and available for the public from 11 o'clock tomorrow if they want to
Oh,
watch it and go from that. And basically, as well, I just also wanted to add with Alyssa and Kuya Alan in terms of casting. I think I also just want to highlight that Sunday Stories is a platform for emerging and new
mhm.
filmmakers. So Kuya Alan being completely fresh from the community and this being his first time actually really fits the initiative. But also for me and Alyssa as creatives on our own, but also for TKC, we really value opportunities for development and mentorship. So that's why it was just such a beautiful time to watch Alyssa really grow into her directing shoes, and also have the opportunity to really help and mentor Kuya Allan to be comfortable on set. And yeah, I agree. Kuya Allan was really good. Really good.
And
Artista na yan eh.
kailangan na ng talent
Salamat.
manager. But I've been following Marianne's career, and really, saludo ako sa mga ginagawa ni Marianne. And I think your group, no, yung Tech Kuya Collective, no? Ano ba yun?
Collaborative.
Ate and Kuya, collaborative. Ba yun? Ate
Yeah.
and Kuya, yung ba yun? Tech Kuya,
Opo.
parang gano'n?
Opo. So
I
I think part of the breakdown, the name,
Mhm.
the inspiration between, instead of it being called Ate and Kuya, it was called Te and Kuya, because that was also us tapping into acknowledging that we're in New Zealand. So
Yes.
the Te of, like Te Aomori, the so we were trying to really make a point that we are Filipinos in New Zealand, and we're the Ates and Kuyas of basically the company, as co-founded by myself and Kuya Marwin, who was in Pinay as well. And yeah, it's basically a platform for the Filipino community to basically be able to come to if they're looking for Filipino excellence in the creative arts or in the community.
Very good, because for the longest time, I've been trying to find a group of, like what you're doing. And I'm so happy that finally there is this young group. Well, Alan, you're still young, so kasama ka dyan sa young emerging, no? Yung emerging, and I'm sure this group of yours will gel some more, no? Kasi the more you do productions, the more na ano yan eh, na nahahasa, no? And so there will be bigger things coming coming soon from you. I'm sure by now you're already thinking, or you're already doing pre-production, or kung ano man yung ginagawa nyo, no? So Alyssa, you've been directing before in some short. Did you study filmmaking when you were in the university?
Yeah, so I graduated from film school at University of Auckland. I did a BA in screen production alongside my history major.
Very
And after training, I actually went into theater with Proud Asian Theater and helped with Pinay. And since then, have really been freelancing. I've done a few odd jobs here and there in the film industry, but I directed my first short film before Mekeni earlier this year as well, with 3 Dots for Asian New Zealand Foundation. So that was really like my first foray into a directing role, and that was super helpful. And I had a really good team on that as well, and they were super supportive in helping me grow and develop. And yeah, and it was really just like applying what I've learned through my training, and also constantly as well learning along the process, even though I'm not in school anymore, still attending workshops and things like that.
Very good, very good. And I think you know about the DEG and Z, right? The Directors and Editors Guild
Yeah.
of New Zealand. Are you a member of that already? Not yet.
No, I'm
You have
not a
certain
member actually.
category, yeah. So your professors
Yeah.
might be very happy about what you're doing, and of course the Filipino community I shared our what's this? I mean this event, so I shared it, and from the reaction from the Filipino community, they're all excited to watch and to see. I think this is something that has been a long time coming, no? I also tagged to my former students who are in the Philippines, no? Na nasa film industry din sila. I said, oh, watch this group that it's coming out, and I've been getting some very positive feedback. Uh, you know, a filmmaking is that it's not an easy process, di ba? I think you found out about that already. It pushes you to the boundary, no? Yung parang as an artista for Marianne and Allan, so may pinupush yan as a director or producer and everything. But you guys are willing to do this. What is that seed? Ano yung talagang nagpupush sa iyo, Allan? Ikaw muna. Ano kasi ikaw pinakabagito dito sa grupo. Ano yung nagpupush sa iyo? Ano nagpupush sa iyo, Allan?
Yung sa akin, yung nagpupush sa akin yung motivation ko to learn dun sa dun sa binigyan nilang role sa akin. And with all the mentoring, coaching, and engagement from Marianne and Direk Alyssa, I was pushed to my limit. Like I should be performing really at this level. So yeah, I did my best to do the film. So yeah, so that helps me a lot, especially the mentoring during the set and from the production team on how you act and how you do the pacing. Yeah, that helps me a lot on my first time being an
Very
actor.
good. Very good, very good. Ikaw, Alisa, as a, this is already like you've been doing productions before, pero ito yung parang, I suppose, correct me if I'm wrong, this will be like your coming out party as a film director, di ba? Kasi parang in a way major na ito eh. So, what can you say about, paano yung paghuhugot ng, I'm
I
sure
think for
there's a
me,
lot.
kasi this year was quite quite interesting kasi I had my first short film, Three Dots, and Mekeni were pretty much back to back in both preparing for them in pre-production. So we shot Three Dots in March, and then we shot Mekeni in April. So I was doing both at the same time. So I feel like both of them are actually simultaneously both a debut for me.
So, twins. May
And
twins ka. Twins ang anak mo.
twins yung anak ko. But with Mekeni, because it's much longer, so Three Dots was 3 minute long. My personal interest is very much in micro short films in terms of for me as a
Okay.
practice with my craft. That's something I'm really interested in. So that was what I did for my first film. And with Mekeni, it was really out of a love for the story, and the message around it in terms of how it portrays a father-daughter relationship, and also just being interested by Marianne to direct this, and I really wanted to do my best in that. And it's a longer film than the 3 minute one, of course. So there was a different skill set. Aside from the foundational skill sets, there was still more kind of working with a longer narrative and making it more cinematic, kumbaga, than just like reading out words on a page kind of thing. And I had more time to play with this time, so yeah, it like they're both very, very different projects. And doing it at the same time really made me really like go beyond my initial capabilities. So yeah,
You
very
should think
grateful.
also. You should think also of I'm just reading about it and trying to experiment. TikTok, for example, is going into a longer filmmaking on TikTok. No, like what Alyssa was saying, very short, concise. No, kailangan lahat ng elements na nandun. I'm sure you guys will be able to do that. Marianne, as a producer, you're also the producer here, Marianne.
Opo,
Yeah.
opo.
So anong talagang
I
feeling mo?
I think for me it's three parts in terms of the seed or the motivation. I mean, first, to be completely honest and like, transparent, the first thing that motivates me with this film and with Mekeni is the possibilities of learning and growing as a filmmaker. And also, building profile, building capabilities, building resources, as well as network, so that we can continue making in the future, not just for me as an individual, but as a community. The Filipino filmmaking community here in New Zealand is quite niche. So alongside that, the second reason I really wanted to do this as well, and also kind of why I brought on Alyssa, is because I really I think I'm really passionate about seeing my friends really succeed in their chosen field. And one of my dreams would be to also see Alyssa go off and be a director outside of what we can do together, because I truly believe in her potential. So I was like, if we can create a credit together and she can grow as a director, I'm going to see more Filipino films outside of what I can produce with other Filipinos in the community, and like just a way to also empower other creatives. So I think it goes hand in hand. Like, I was also very inspired with what Alyssa can bring to the table and how she can really connect to a story, despite being a non-Kapampangan. But she has a really pure, heart in terms of how she really received my work and how she also delivers in a work. So that really inspired me as well to continue making stuff. And I couldn't have done the short film without people like Alyssa. Like, we created the treatment and the pitch together. We were really together from the get-go and up till now, till the release, which is amazing. And I don't think it will be the last thing we do together.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
thirdly, I think the main thing that really motivates me for this film specifically is my Kapampangan pride. I think it's just, in terms of all of the movements with regarding inclusivity and diversity and what we're seeing on screens, what our kids are seeing on screens, what we can potentially expect and hope to see or be represented by in our media. I really believe na the Kapampangans shouldn't be left behind, as well as in this whole monolith of what a Filipino is outside of the Philippines or even in the Philippines. And I know Alyssa shares the same sentiment, that we really want to encourage the awareness outside of the Filipinos and in New Zealand, that Philippines is a home to so many rich cultures and languages. And as a Kapampangan, as someone who always wants to come home, whether that's by my language or by my culture, I think the language really holds who I am as a person and where I come from, and potentially will also guide and direct me where I go from here as a maker. And then saying that, it doesn't mean that I'm just doing Filipino Kapampangan works. I think it just means that I proud ko talaga. Proud ako na Kapampangan ako. Proud ako na Filipino ako here in an industry that is so scarce for us actors who, in general, but also for us actors who are very specifically representing a niche community. So I think, yeah, I'm Kapampangan. Why not make a Kapampangan film? It
Yeah.
makes sense.
And also the trend in the Philippines, I guess it's also a lot of regional, I mean, national, but there are regional films in Bisaya, in Kapampangan, Ilocano, so they're beginning to do that. And which leads me to my next question is, do you have dual citizenship, or is it like all of you are New Zealand citizens, not dual? Anyone with a dual citizenship in your with in Okay, because that's one of the things that I did a little bit of research, that if you want, no, if we and I strongly suggest that eventually put not Mekeni or Mekeni or any of the other films that you're gonna put it in the film festivals in the Philippines. The criteria is a producer director must be a Filipino citizen. So maybe that's something that
Mm,
look you could explore, because what
mm,
you're doing is that is putting out the next level, is put it out there, put it in, like we
mm,
do the I've always wanted to do things like the reverse. Instead of having entertainers coming to the Philippines or films being shown the Philippines coming to New Zealand, we return it, no? New Zealand production palabas sa Pilipinas, New
mm.
Zealand singer mag-concert sa
That's a good
Pilipinas. So
point.
it's something like that I guess
Yeah,
we
I
should,
I
yeah.
I I definitely agree with that, but I think I'm also, and my other thought process in that is, I'm very aware as a creative. I know I was very much supported because of my New Zealand upbringing,
Mm,
because
yeah.
of my New Zealand privilege. So I do find that because I get asked this all the time, and I don't necessarily think it's. I mean, in that regard, I'm like, yeah, my citizenship does matter in this way, but I'm like, parang para sa akin, alam ko Pilipino ako regardless what my passport says about me. But at the same time, I think when I feel when I know that how do I word this? Yung parang bang the reason I felt like I could be a creative was because of the upbringing I had here in New Zealand. The arts was very accessible for me. Whilst in hindsight, I definitely know that if I was to push for the agenda of being a maker in the Philippines, I know that that reality would be very far for me. So I also have this sort of like love hate relationship with how I wish I could be in the Philippines, because like we understand like how how you can make it in the
Mm,
Philippine industry. And I just know for
different,
a
yeah.
for a morena Kapampangan like me who doesn't, isn't in the center, I would be very curious how that would play out for me. So I think I'm also very grateful for the, diverse community of artists that has really raised me and nurtured me as a maker here in New Zealand. So I think I would love to be able to return the favor to the Philippines once that reciprocation happens, like what does that relationship looks like? And I would love to be able to collaborate with makers in the Philippines back home. But I definitely know that I can stand tall here as an artist, or I can call myself as an actor here because New Zealand acknowledges me as an actor. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like my relationship with that. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what other people's thoughts are, but it's a beginning journey for me.
Of course, it is, and baby steps in doing that. And I think the trend, not only in the Philippines, even in New Zealand, all over the world, is what they term as the indie film. Okay, you don't go to the mainstream anymore. You don't, because you get a funder, you get a producer. They have a say in whatever it is you're doing. But if you're an indie producer, indie film, like what you're doing, you had crowdfunding, you had fundraising and all of those things. Those, I think, that's the way of a creative, have more freedom to do what you're doing. And it would be nice if like stories of Filipinos in New Zealand, produced by Filipinos in New Zealand, will be aired in other parts of the world where there are Filipino communities. Guys, mahirap yung I don't know about Marianne and Alyssa, but I think Allan, you have full-time jobs and you're doing something else, but
Yeah.
your passion, your love for your craft is hindi na-extinguish, no? I'm sure yung struggles, di ba? Yung kahirapan kung paano kumuha ng pondo, anong camera gagamitin natin, anong set, ganyan-ganyan, kung ano-ano, props and everything. And then may pandemic pa. So parang talagang yung piniga kayo ng husto until you came up with this Mekeni. How long is the film? How long is it? It's a short film, di ba? Less than 20 minutes. Yun
It's
ba yun?
9.5 minutes.
9.5. Okay, yeah. Kasi
Mm.
yung mga kasi iba yung well, that's another thing that probably you guys and we have to reorient the Filipino viewers na hindi ito yung pelikula na talagang minsan pwede naman ikwento ng 10-20 minutes, hinahaba ng halos isa't kalahating oras, no? Para this is something, a short film is different, no? And I'm glad that you have that watch party kasi is it like live na pwedeng people can join and then ask questions para may Q&A, parang ganon? Yun
Well,
ba yun?
we the watch party we advertised or launched mid last week because
Mhm.
because of the online platform. Zoom can only can only hold 100 participants, so we had to
Mm.
cap the event
Mm.
to 100 people. So we've actually just got 100 people now. So the
Okay.
event will be closed very soon once I get off this chat. But
Mm.
yeah, it's basically so we can watch it together on our separate like tabs because we want people to see it on good quality from
Mhm.
the link itself, and then we can talk about it after. Since the format is so short, we
Mm.
are able to have those conversations after. And yeah, for the people who doesn't know what a short film is, it's basically any films that's below 40 minutes including credits is
Mhm.
considered a short film. So it could be, I think the shortest short film is actually like a minute 40 something
Mhm.
seconds, which actually
Mhm.
won an award. I was
Mhm.
researching that the other day, but I also really enjoyed this format in terms of like how Alyssa has definitely distilled the story in a way that is it's concentrated. So I think it's like, if you think of story writing, you've got your short stories or your short plays, and then you've got your novels, right? So I think there are ways of definitely telling a story from a haiku to a book series, so I think short films really captivates um, another magic of storytelling, and I think it takes a really great certain amount of people to be able to pull that together. And just to comment on what you were saying before, Direct Rene, of like how do we do it, the community. our community here really showed up. And even Kuya Allan being connected through a Facebook audition post, the
Mhm.
Filipino community really participated as well in terms of how we make this film. Our boosted donors, Sunday Stories, who initially picked up our show for the platform. And at the same time, we also have Proudly Asian Theaters community, Pan Asian Screen Collective community came through. Equipment, our friends, we worked with our friends, who are also really highly skilled. And similar to Alyssa, like Alyssa also brought a group of friends with her. Like her parents was our caterer, who was are amazing cooks. So it was yung community talaga. They showed up and they brought their heart to the project, and we're so grateful. And we know we couldn't have done this without people like yourself, Direk Rene.
And yeah, my passion really is for, as I said, I've been looking for something like this, like a group na hindi ako kasi matanda na ako eh. Parang gusto ko yung mga bata pa na, and it's good. Marami na noon, may lumalabas, ganyan, may short film, but yeah, I think you guys are doing the right, you're going the right way, and making a short film is a viewer will have to think about, mag-iisip ka eh. Kasi I'm not saying hindi maganda yung mainstream pelikula, pero yung kasi you have the luxury of the length of the time, no? So, pero ang short film, kailangan mag-isip ka eh. Kasi may mga bagay na, halimbawa, yung mga bagay na shortcut yung, I don't know, yung technique ni Alyssa, no? But those things, it will all of these things, alam nyo, will only bring goodness sa inyo, no? Not only just the karma, pero yung sinasabi ko, yung working relationship nyo, no? Mag-expand yan, mag-ano yan ng, and yeah, a lot of goodness will come out of it. Sayang, at marami pa sana ako itatanong. Kaya lang, alam ko si Marianne will be interviewed by Kapampangan TV network. So, sayang yun. Kailangan kayong tatlo din ba yun?
If you have another question, Direk, I can do like another 10 minutes. I'm happy to. It's
Yeah,
it's
sige.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have another question, go.
Kasi yung isang question ko is Shortland Street. Tapos, di ba, Madonna ka doon. Tapos, dito sa Mekeni. Pero, nauna na yung Mekeni, di ba? Tapos na yung production nung April, and then meron bang nag-crossover ba o parang yung as a character, as an actor?
No, not at all. The only
She's
crossover
very
is the
different.
same. It's the same actor. That's it.
Okay.
No, walang crossover. So yeah, we filmed like Alyssa said. We filmed Mekeni in April, and I auditioned after. So I guess really like going back to how Alyssa and I survive as freelancers. I consider us as full timers. Parang full to the brim. We always have to constantly pick up gigs, and this is just the same as that. While it sounds like I'm doing all of these things at the same time just because I'm on TV and now the film is out, but no, like these works were already ongoing way before Shortland Street happened for me. So it's also quite humbling. It grounds me, reminds me where I come from. So it's
Siguro paborito niyo yung 2-minute noodles nung time na yun dahil sa budget, parang
Hey,
ganon.
2-minute noodles. 2-minute noodles with egg.
Yun. Ikaw, Allan, yung moving forward, what are your thoughts, and are you gonna pursue something like this, maybe as a side gig or Allan?
If opportunity will knock again, then surely I will grab it. So yeah, I'm looking forward for maybe another short film or the likes. And yeah, since I have started doing it, so I have to, I think it's the best time to continue what I'm doing now. But the thing is, like now I'm working I have a full-time job, but if the production team will be as supportive as Marianne and Direk Alyssa, why not? So yeah, I'm not closing my doors for another opportunity.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, Direk Alyssa, did you also edit this one, or you had an editor for the
No,
film?
we had an editor for it.
Was he Filipino or hindi?
No, she wasn't Filipino. So yeah, definitely like we knew that it would be hard for us to find a Filipino or Kapampangan specifically editor. That's why we had a lot of preparation for just making sure that the language wouldn't be
Yes.
an issue. And our editor did an amazing job. She's Julie Machado, and she's amazing and really, and she's Brazilian. So
Okay.
she understood the importance of language and really took care of it as well.
Very good. I think good things will come out of your group, of your production outfit. And so on Wednesday, tomorrow, 11 in the morning, so sa Someday Stories Facebook page, that's where we will get.
Or just follow Teng Kuya Collaborative. All of the information comes through TKC's Instagram or Facebook. You will be most informed there, as well as check out Sunday Stories, the initiative. It's an ongoing platform for anyone who wants to give filmmaking a go. I also want to give them a shout out and support their network and their platform, because a lot of people start in short film. Taika Waititi started in short films. It's a good place for you to make, to do your trialing and error, learn from your mistakes, make all the mistakes so that when you get the big $3 million project, you know what
Yeah.
you're kind of doing, So I really promote, especially for younger filmmakers, to, just try and make all the mistakes and learn in the process, because, your story is not going to be the same as someone else's story, So I encourage Filipinos who wants to be in the industry to just do it. And we are here for, guidance in your community. Direct Alyssa is one of the most generous creatives I know, that if you have any questions and you buy her coffee, she will talk to you. Maybe hot chocolate. She doesn't really drink coffee.
Okay.
I do coffee or wine. It's fine.
And so when the lockdown is over, let's all get together and have some coffee also on me, okay? Because I want to explore more, to talk to your group. You're an inspiration to many of us.
Shout ni Direct.
Oh, sama natin si,
Ikaw yung may
si
Shortland Street money, ha?
Well, siya yung nag-offer eh. I'm still an artist at heart.
It's very good. No? What Marianne was saying and what Alyssa and Allan and everyone is doing is just go for it. Technology, don't be limited by technology. I always believe all you need is a smartphone to tell your story. Hindi mo kailangan ng sophisticated na gamit if you are starting. And some films have been made using an iPhone 5 or so all you need is a smartphone to tell your story. Because what these guys are saying, are sharing their stories. Marami pa tayong kwento. We come from a culture, ang kultura po ng Pilipino is oral history, no? Mahilig tayong magkwento eh. So, ang ginagawa ni na Alyssa, ni Marianne at ni Allan is they put it for posterity into a digital form para yung kwentong yun ay palaging nandyan. So kung meron po kayong mga kwento, get in touch with Alyssa, Marianne, and Allan. And, we need all of your stories. Maraming salamat muli, Marianne, Alyssa, and Allan. This will not be the first and the last time that I'll talk to you. I'm really inspired by what you're doing, no? At maraming salamat. And I've shared this link to people in the Philippines so that they will also be aware of what you are doing. All right. Maraming salamat.
Salamat.
Maraming salamat, Direk. Thank you. Maraming salamat. God bless.
I-end ko lang tapos mag-picture tayo. Okay. Maraming salamat po dito po sa ating PSTV5 Online.